We're going to be installing the inlets today. I finally got inlets for this car because I did some research, and these inlets are very restrictive and they're going to be cutting away some power. So I got these silicone inlets. Along with that, I had I don't talk about this, but I did have a AutoZone filters temporarily on there because I was waiting on these things over here. Those are the dual cone intakes, N54 Burger Motorsport. So that's going to be replacing these as well. So first off, I'm going to start with the rear. There is one forum on how to do this, so I kind of read that like 10 times just to see ahead of time what I'm gonna have to do. So what I've done is I've removed this strut bar that kind of just holds the strut towers to the car, so that it makes everything stiffer. So I removed that. It's a 14mm reverse Torx, but I kind of just took a 14mm closed end of a wrench and I got it out. It's very tight on there, so I don't know how I'm gonna put it back on, but yeah. I did take this out too. These are just held in by these like panel clip type just panel clip type things. So you just pry this middle part out, and then this thing you're gonna have to hold with your hand because it'll go flying off, and then this right there, that's gonna stay in there, and then you're gonna have to pry that out with the flathead screwdriver as well. So I did that on both sides, got this wiring harness out of the way because I'm gonna have to reach my hand in there. And then the front of the car I decided not to start with because I thought it was gonna be easier for the back, but it looks like it's just gonna be just as complicated on both sides. But here's the inlet, and that goes down there. So what we're gonna have to do is jack up the car, take the skid plate off, or the cover, the bottom cover, and then take this fan shroud off. And on the Z4s, or I think on cars with transmission coolers like automatics and DCTs, I think the DCTs are gonna have them, but there's a transmission cooler down there that bolts onto the fan shroud, so you're gonna have to remove that screw, and then the fan shroud just comes right up. I think there's like 2 Torx bit screws in here that I'd also have to take out. Right, so there ended up being two of these screws that actually bolts the inlet into the block, so make sure you get those out. And then you kind of have to pop it out because there's a rubber gasket right over there. There's a rubber gasket behind both of these. I did lose this one that was right here a while back, but yeah, I just kind of installed it still. It dropped somewhere down there, but as you can see, I got it out. It kind of just pops out. I'm gonna try to get this piece out and that little thing out to put it on the new one, and then just, you know, block it off again. All right, here is the update with the rears, or rear. You can't see it because everything's just black, but that's the inlet. It's in, and you can sort of see the, if I point the light away, you can sort of see the hose clamp down there. Yeah, the back is pretty much done. I just need to put everything back together, and I'm probably gonna try to fit that intake on here, just to see how it looks so far, and then we're gonna have to jack up the car. So depending on your mileage on your BMW, I don't know what year, like 335s are gonna have this too, I'm pretty sure, but the coolant reservoir hose that goes from that side to this hose right here, as you can see, it's off on mine. That's because it broke off, because BMW decided to use brittle plastic once again to support a structure with immense heat. So obviously over time it'll get brittle, and snap. So that's what happened here. I don't know where I left the other half, but I was trying to move that on this side to get the fan clear. So there's the filter, by the way. Looks sick. But this was very, very bad. I had to rush to the store and get one. Not that, they don't carry these. Here's a quick fix if you guys' hose breaks. More than likely it's gonna break as well if you do this. Or, you know, unless you're careful removing it. So here's the thing, and I just went to O'Reilly's and got a fuel line, I think. So there's it's not really a 3/8 fuel line, but I got two bark fittings. It'll fit in here, this will fit in there, same thing on the other half, and then I'm just gonna zip tie everything together. It should work. So yeah, don't I removed it hoping that that line would flex. I thought it was like a regular rubber hose, but no, it was plastic. So I was trying to move it over here out of the way. But if you're doing this, maybe just try to slide it up right here, which is where I had it before, but I just wanted more clearance. But yeah, that's what happens. Alright, I finally got it out. As you can see, it wasn't easy. There's the inner O-ring piece for the inlet. I should probably get that out. I've been seeing a lot of coolant. I removed this thing. It did give me a little more room to wiggle it out. This thing is going to be a lot harder than the rear to get out. You do have to be careful where you're trying to move it, and this piece is kind of hitting the engine a bit when you try to move it out. What I did was I moved it up and then kind of sideways, and on the Z4s we have this little thing here, so we can't even move that coolant hose, towards the front. There's these two brackets here that hold coolant. Can you see that? Those two. It holds the coolant lines in, and I got coolant all over the crankshaft too. Oh boy, it's gonna be great. I'm probably just gonna take the air compressor and try to blow it out before I install anything again. But reason why I took this out as well, I have a replacement. You can see where it's starting to deteriorate here. While I was trying to find the other piece that came off of that piece, it was inside there. I found it. So when you're taking this out, make sure you go in there and then pull whatever from this piece is left in there. But yeah, definitely good thing this didn't leak out, because that was breaking. That broke basically where the O-ring was. I took the O-ring out too. Oh yeah, to remove the fan shroud, there's a bolt here, and then this bolt, there's a Torx screw for this transmission cooler, I think. So you just take that one out from the side. You take this out from this side. First off, don't try to take this off with that bar still on. It's going to be a lot harder. I did that, and then I realized that taking off this bar would make everything a lot easier. So I took this out. It's right here. So just take that out. I did remove a few screws over here, which I didn't need to. So all you need to do is remove this one, and this one. So 3 screws, and then that whole thing, 3 screws on each side, and then that whole thing literally just pops right up. So you're gonna have to do that every time you replace either the radiator fan, like remove the radiator fan shroud, or this AC compressor, I think. But there's a little hex screw thing right here that holds the top of the radiator in place, or top of this, radiator in place. But yeah, that's that. I'm gonna install this thing back in, or the new one in. I do recommend when you're replacing your inlets, or getting aftermarket ones or whatever. Definitely just replace that if you don't have it already. It's gonna make things a lot easier in the future, because you do have to remove that fan shroud anyways. So yeah, and it makes it kind of easier when you remove this out, and then to pull that thing out, it makes it a little easier because this thing clips onto here. Okay, a few things going on here. I got the inlet in. Where's my light? It's getting dark. There it is. Alright, got the inlet in. As you can see, it's a bit short. I mean, I thought it was gonna be short when I saw it in the when I unopened it, opened the package. But this could work actually, because of how short it is. It's actually going up against the alternator right here, and then this is going up against the hose right here. Not too much, but it's, if it goes back any further, the fan shroud's right here, and it can't go forward any more than that because it's got this bend on it. And if I move these two hoses up, those two are keeping that in place, and the fan shroud is going to keep this in place from moving it back and forth. So it kind of just naturally is on there, like it shouldn't move, but I still don't feel good with it. Just, and also like the filter is going to be right here, so it's also going to be keeping it from going anywhere. But I will try to install that large hose clamp that I had. I have another one, and I'm just gonna try to get it in here and here, like tie it up. I mean, zip ties would work, but I don't have any, so that'll have to do. And what else? Oh yeah, you're gonna have to move the coolant reservoir and then disconnect the sensor, because you're gonna have to twist this. The bolt should be facing the front, and then just have it tied up to something like that, bungee cord. I don't have a bungee cord, so I just got metal wire. So that's in place. The reason why is because my light is dying over here. That's not the reason why. Down there, you can't see it. You can kind of see it right there on the hose. That's the hose clamp, and depending on, you see that screw right there, that's the V-band clamp for the outlet. So depending on where that's placed, this could be easy or hard for you. It ended up being hard for me because that's right where I could have stuck a socket in there, but instead I had to put a screwdriver through that hole right there, and then you can barely see the clamp right there, and I still couldn't fit a ratchet in there. So what I did was I just took a screwdriver in there and then just tightened it manually. It should hold it in place. I mean, that's gonna hold it in place, and then this is, let me zoom out, hang on. That's gonna hold it in place, and then this is also gonna hold it in place. So hopefully nothing from the front should go wrong. Everything should be keeping it, this whole structure itself should be keeping itself from going into the belts here, so the pulleys, I mean, so that should be good. And then I think the fan shroud just comes up here anyways. So yeah, cool. I'm gonna put the let's see, I gotta put this back in, and then the fan shroud back in, and then everything should be good. Oh yeah, the little coolant flange, I ended up just using a regular hose clamp because I found out that using the pinching one, I'd have to get like a thing down here, and it wouldn't be as tight as this would be. So I just kind of got a screwdriver from up here, tightened it, not a screwdriver, socket, but yeah, tightened it from up here. That's not going anywhere. Now all I have to do is plug back in the radiator, I mean the coolant reservoir sensor, and then it pops into here. So when you're taking it out, make sure you pull it up. It pops into there, and then screws right here, 2 screws, and then Everything else just goes back to how I took it out. So yeah. All right, we are complete. You can see 2 filters. It's all good. This is a bit shorter. Normally, what I've seen, at least on the 335Is, these two are a lot closer to each other, but yeah, it could also just be like they probably have fatter filters, pods, but yeah, this thing isn't really moving much at all, and it's being held in by, it's getting stuck between this and this, but yeah, besides that, it's not really moving, and I think I'm just gonna keep it like that, because when I try to put the hose clamp in, it started touching the fan blade, so that would have been worse. It's not moving anywhere, so it's good. And then the top part would probably be held in by the hood. I did check clearance, and the hood does close with this on, so that's good.